أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد وانتشت روحي وصارت.
After this we began the chapter of wudu, and we saw the famous hadith of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the reward for the one who performs a perfect wudu. And we know that whenever one takes wudu, whatever sins you had committed with your hands, with your eyes, with your ears, they are all washed away. We spoke about the method of wudu, and then we spoke about the fara'id, the wajibat of wudu, and they are that the person, innamal a'malu bin niyyat, should have the intention. Then the four limbs which Allah mentioned in the Quran: washing the face, washing the arm from the fingertip right up to and including the elbows, making mas of the entire head, and washing the feet, keeping in this order. And lastly, muwalat. Muwalat is continuation, right? You wash one limb after the other, and you don't wait half an hour, 1 hour between the washing of the various limbs. Jayyid. After mentioning the method of wudu, then the author went on to the chapter Mas'al al-Khufayn, wiping over the Khufayn. He spoke about wiping over the Jawrabayn, over socks, wiping over the boot, wiping over the turban, the scarf of the female. And we said that all of these are permissible, insha'Allah, walhamdulillah. With regards to preconditions, then one has to put these on in a state of purification. When it came to the Khufayn, we said that Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah allow wiping over the Khufayn, whereas the Shia Rafidah, they do not allow this, rather they wipe over their feet. We mentioned the qira'at, وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ, which means wash your feet. وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ, which would mean wipe over them. Wipe over them when I'm wearing some sort of foot covering. We spoke about the preconditions: put it on in a state of complete purification, and it must be obviously tahir, it must be permissible for you to make use of. And some of the invalidators of your purification or the wiping over the socks would be that your time has expired, or if you have removed them, according to majority of the scholars. Time period: 24 hours for the resident, 3 days, 3 nights for the traveler. As for the turban, the author put some preconditions, and that it should have some sort of tail at the back, so it's different from the Ahl al-Kitab. Also, many of the Hanbali scholars state that it should be muhannak, going under the neck, like we would find many of the Sudanese, the turban which goes under the neck. So they said, why? Because that type of turban, it has mashaqqa, in difficulty in removing. We saw Salama radiallahu ta'ala anha wiping over her scarf. So we said this would be permissible under dire circumstances. Reasons: Salama had done so. Another proof would be qiyas upon the turban of the male. So it would be permissible under dire circumstances. But many a scholar has also stated that if the female is going to wipe over her khimar, that she must try to at least wipe over a little portion of her hair, just to be on the safe side. Just to be on the safe side, wipe a little of the hair also. Jayyid. With regards to the bandage, we said that it differs from the Khufayn in various aspects. You wipe over the entire bandage, wipe over the upper portion of the Khufayn. You wipe for over 24 hours. In fact, there's no time period when it comes to the bandage, whereas we mentioned the time period over the socks and the turban, etc. With regards to wiping over the bandage, it suffices you for your ghusl and your wudu. As for the Khufayn, the turban, they only suffice you for the wudu. So those were some of the differences between the two. Then we went on to the chapter Bab Nawaqidul Wudu, the chapter of those matters which nullify my purification. Remember, Ya Ikhwan, Ya Akhawat, the general and basic rule is that your purification once done is complete, and it is yaqeen and certainty. And we require clear proof, authentic proof, to prove that your purification is now nullified. The basic rule is that my purification is intact until proven otherwise. We spoke about those matters which nullify purification. Whatever discharge it might be, if it comes out from the sabilain, the two private organs, then nullifies your wudu. Be it a little, a lot, rare or common type of discharge, all will nullify your wudu. Be it tahir like semen, or be it najis, would nullify your wudu. وَزَوَالُ الْعَقْلِ, and the loss of intellect, Or if you were in deep sleep, that would also nullify your wudu. Touching of the private organ, the front private organ, nullifies wudu. Skin on skin contact with the female, does it nullify my wudu? According to the author, if it was with desire, it does so. But the other narration from Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal is that whether with desire or not, if you touch the female, your wudu is intact. And lastly, ridda, apostasy, leaving the fold of Islam, yes, nullifies your purification. What happens if I took purification and I have doubt whether I have broken my wudu or not? My purification is intact. What happens if I know I went to the toilet and I'm unsure, did I take a fresh wudu or not? My yaqeen is I went to the toilet. So my doubt is whether I took a fresh purification or not. Throw the doubts away. You do not have purification and you require taking a fresh wudu. After the chapter of the nullifiers of wudu, we went on to the chapter of ghusl. And we saw that janaba, entering the state of janaba. How do I enter that state? Well, when there was a release of semen, when there was ejaculation, be it asleep or during the day. If it was asleep, then we don't really worry about whether there was desire, whether there was gushing out of the semen or not. But if it was during the day, while you were awake, then we would say, yes, while awake, we require attachment of desire and it should not be due to sickness. Also the meeting of the two private organs. If there was disappearance of the head of the male private organ into the female private organ, then this would require both of them to perform ghusl. The minimum type of ghusl is intention, washing your entire body once, and then washing and gargling the mouth and cleansing the nasal passages. That is the minimum method of performing ghusl. Then we went through the hadith of Maymuna, the sunnah type of ghusl. We spoke about the female and whether she is required to open up her hair if it's plaited, etc. Be it menstruation, be it the ghusl after menstruation, or be it the ghusl after janaba, she's not required to undo her plaits as long as the roots are wet. Walhamdulillah. Then we went on to the chapter of tayammum. We saw the method of tayammum. You strike the ground once. Obviously, you said Bismillah before that. You wipe your entire face. Left hand on right hand on left. Walhamdulillah, your tayammum is done. And our last chapter was the chapter of hayd and then the chapter of nifas. We discussed the matters, those matters which are prohibited for the female while in the state of menstruation, recitation of Quran, fasting, performance of salah. With regards to her fast, then yes, she has to make up for it after her menstruation. Performing tawaf around the Kaaba, reciting the Quran, we went into that in great detail. Touching the mushaf, resting, sitting in the masjid, not allowed. Intercourse, also divorce, talaq, while she's menstruating, it is haram. And if she's a female who menstruates, then her iddah after being divorced will be calculated according to 3 menstrual cycles. We spoke about different types of females with regards to menstruation. Those who have a proper cycle and pattern. Those who are able to distinguish between the 2 types of blood. The blood of menstruation and the blood of istihada, dysfunctional bleeding. We spoke about the female who in reality is a bit confused, that she does not have a proper cycle, she does not have a pattern, or she's unable to distinguish between the types of blood. We had seen, according to the Hanbali madhab, the minimum menstruation would be a day and a night, 24 hours. Maximum is 15 days. After 15 days, it is istihada. Less than 1 day, 1 night, it is istihada. The minimum duration period of cleanliness between 2 menstruations would be 13 days. Then we went on to the chapter of nifas, walhamdulillah, and we said that this female maximum period would be 40 days. Maximum period of nifas would be 40 days, and there is no minimum. So if she had stopped bleeding after, for example, 3 days, khalas, her nifas is over. She takes the ghusl and everything is normal for her. The rulings of nifas and the rulings of menstruation are the same. No recitation of Quran, no touching of the Quran, no salah, and no performance of siyam. Walhamdulillah. And with that, we have concluded a quick revision of the 9 sessions. Your homework, inshallah, and there is a prize for the student who puts up on the forum, the first student who puts up this matter on the forum. What is the matter? What is the question? You need to list down all of the instances where we had differed with the author. The instances where we had differed with the author. Example, the classification and the divisions of water. We differed with the author in this matter. With regards to washing all types of najasa, minimum 3 times. Even though the najasa was removed after the first wash, we differed with the author in this matter. So who from amongst you can list all 10 or 20 of those matters where we had differed with the author? Then for them is a prize, inshallah. Also take note, in those matters where we had differed with the author, in almost every single instance, the opinion that we stated was stronger, or the opinion which we said was the rajih, was an opinion which has been narrated from Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. As we said, Imam Ahmad has various riwayat. So technically, we were still within the madhab of the Hanbali madhab. We were still within the domain of the Hanbali madhab, although we differed with the author in that matter. Now we come to some fawaid, inshallah, in our closing of this session. The book that we had explained, or we are busy explaining, is Umdatul Fiqh.